Good afternoon, traders. What a day. Quite a wild way to start the big earnings show for this quarter. Very excited. We have Tesla earnings on tap today, as well as Apple and Facebook. We're also going to be covering Microsoft, as well as Starbucks. These are all holdings of our firm. So we do own all these companies that we'll be discussing today. You should assume that we own anything that we are discussing, so that we have an inherent conflict of interest. So please keep in mind, this is for informational purposes, and any investment you make is your own responsibility. We're a fiduciary investment advisor, so we're happy to help you with your finances, and past performance is certainly not indicative of future results, although it is a very good indicator. So we're going to get the show started right now. Very exciting day. All of a sudden, some of the worst companies in America are some of the best performers. Now, who would think that, right? GameStop. Actually, I was just talking to somebody about the fact that Nokia was actually usurped by BlackBerry, and this was all before the iPhone. And so when you really think about Nokia trading simultaneously with BlackBerry going higher, is really similar. I think when like Jesus came back from the dead kind of thing, So, I've been enjoying the trading personally because I hate short sellers, being a Tesla bull. And so this has been a super enjoyable period of time for me watching, retail investors.
I mean, it's amusing, isn't it? It's amusing to see all these short sellers getting busted. I love it.
See, Wall Street really doesn't like when retail people go to town on them. They really don't. And we're not Wall Street. That's why we like it. We actually started our whole firm because we hate Wall Street. So, it's kind of crazy to think like, here are all these people who are, seeing short sellers piling in on a dying company, and then they go out and kill them. So it is kind of like a horde mob of stock trading. What'd you say?
It's a bit of a revolution for Main Street.
I think it's the same revolution that's happened a few times, but it's this generation's revolution for Main Street, where they've now figured out what obviously the wealthy have figured out for a long time, which is investing in the stock market is the best way to build wealth. I can't tell you how important it is if you want to have anything in your life. So for individuals to take their futures into their own hands, I think is great. Now, where it's dangerous is the betting and the gambling part. And I have to warn investors, if you're buying GameStop or AMC, these are trades. You should not be betting money you can't afford to lose. Just like Vegas, there's no skill set. I have no greater skill set at betting on a 50-50 coin flip than you do. So when I'm making those bets, the only difference is I know that I'm either lucky or not lucky. So please don't be confused. If you've made a bunch of money on these stocks, you want to be prudent. You've been lucky. There's no skill that you've used. There's no special magic wand that's helped you. So if you've made money, be responsible, take profits. I'm all for betting, and I'm all for gambling with a small amount of your money. But if this is 100% of your net worth and you're playing a dangerous game, I'm going to have to warn you against it.
Yeah, doesn't make it less amusing though. It's good.
I'm frozen. Oh, there I'm unfrozen.
It's definitely fun to watch. But do you think these GameStop investors are ride or die? Are they in it for the long haul like they're supposed to be?
Well, no, of course not. And I've been hearing people try to start convincing me to recommend like stocks like AMC or Nokia just because we have so much clout. And I'm like, guys, you guys are delusional. We're not going to recommend these stocks. If you want to trade them. But it's just like gambling. I see it no difference than betting on, Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl. I think that's a good bet too, and I might take that bet, the Buccaneers over Kansas City. And I don't know if that's a good bet, but I'll have to defer that to Dave Portnoy, So we're waiting now for Tesla earnings. They usually report. We're expecting about $10 billion in revenue, about $1.10 a share from Tesla. That's the consensus.
Yeah. Close about what half a million cars were sold last quarter, which is almost 500,000, 495,000, 99,000. You're back.
I think our show blew up. I'm not sure if it's working. Are we back? I don't see it.
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
All right, good. Oh boy, yeah. There's been a lot of problems on the internet. We've been hearing we've had trading issues. Yeah, this isn't working on my side. Alex.
Yeah, Tesla earnings is going to be interesting though, just because whenever you see Elon happy and tweeting about different things pre-earnings, it's always a little bit of a tell. It seems that they're up to something. So I'm excited to see.
So you think that's an indicator of positive earnings?
More like a time indicator.
The more he tweets, especially like the game stonks thing, like if he's in a good mood, he's tweeting more. So, the tweet indicator is not actually a bad way to look at Tesla.
I think,
but I don't know how accurate it's going to be.
I think he's definitely happy the shorts are getting it taken to them. And you should see the Reddit comments on him.
I can't even imagine how much the shorts were angry that Tesla did that to them. But it's just the same. Elon hates the shorts just as much as I do, and for the same reasons. And we sunk for $40 billion.
It was the same guy that was short Tesla though a few years ago. That's why he did that.
Yeah,
it was.
Melvin
yeah, he tweeted that out because Melvin, the portfolio manager, was famous for betting against Tesla over the last 4 or 5
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
years.
Oh, so there's more to the game here, huh?
Well, what about those $2.5 billion that Steve Cohen gave him last week that basically went up in flame? How awesome
well, I mean, that was just to shore up their finances.
Facebook just came out, by the way.
Okay, what do we got from Facebook, guys?
Daily active users were up 11% year over year. They've got now 1.84 billion users. Looks like EPS beat 388 by 322, which they could just kind of manipulate that wherever they want.
It seems normal.
So far, it's pretty much the only headlines that have come out.
Yeah, revenue 28 billion versus 26.
It's trading down slightly.
Those numbers seem
260.
very Facebooky.
Yeah, market is down 7%.
Is Facebook
They
down?
have 61.95 billion in cash.
Not enough.
Tesla's trading down now too.
Has Tesla put out their numbers yet?
Nothing's hit, but I'm assuming it has because it's down to 42.
I see Facebook down $12 after hours.
Yeah. There's nothing on Tesla yet, but it seems to be
Tesla's down 20 after hours just because.
EPS of
right
80
now
cents did not compare to the $1.01 estimate. That's the only thing so far on Tesla.
From what? From Tesla?
Yep.
What do they report?
EPS of 80 cents.
Yeah, so they
did
missed.
Revenue of 10.7 billion versus expectations of 10.5 billion.
Yeah, so they beat on the top and they missed on the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So
it's down
automotive
to
revenue 9.3 billion, credits were 400 million, automotive profits 2.2 billion, margins is 24%.
That's all in line. So where's the EPS miss?
EPS, capital expenditures, that's Berlin, 1.15 billion.
That's probably where's the miss, is they're spending money again.
Yeah, I mean Berlin is ramping up, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's not bad news by any means. Yeah. The top line number I think beats by a decent amount, huh?
Yeah, decent amount.
Let me
Total revenue grew 46% year over year. Q4.
What do we see?
46% year over year growth for Q4.
Nice.
Yeah.
ASP declined by 11% year over year, which we knew.
Yeah, so Tesla's growing manufacturing capacity.
Yeah. It's interesting on Facebook. They said that there's going to be significant ad targeting headwinds still. So they're clearly still having a lot of trouble in the ad space.
We're going back to Facebook here. Or are we talking about Tesla?
That was Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not confuse. We can talk about Facebook later because Facebook sucks.
So I think the ASP down by 11% because the product mix has changed. more Model 3. Model
I'm not
Y.
worried about ASP. I'm just trying to figure out where that bottom line number comes from. So I've got Tesla down 42 points, about 5%. That's not an abnormal move for missing on the bottom line.
I think we got to wait to see what Elon says.
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna have to see these rash moves. You got to be careful because Elon's gonna come out with a few rabbits.
Yeah,
he rarely shows up without a rabbit, and so I expect rabbits. Now I see Tesla down 60.
Yes, they did
Once again,
179,000 in Q4 total production and 180,000 in Q4 deliveries. So that was up 71% year over year and 61% year over year.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
they expect to achieve
the fact of the
50%
matter
average
is
annual
Tesla's.
growth.
I'm sorry. Go on.
I was just going to say that they expect to achieve 50% average annual growth just in vehicle deliveries alone.
Yeah, we're not going to get much more information until we get to the conference call. So I've got Facebook down 5%. I've got Tesla down 5% or more, 6%.
Almost 10% actually right now.
Apple's also down in sympathy a few dollars, and they don't report probably for a little bit.
We saw this. Yeah, I think we saw this with a couple of the reports yesterday. Microsoft, AMD, and Texas Instruments. All these tech stocks that basically had great numbers, and then we see a fall because they've had such an amazing run. So it's not weird for people to be taking profits here.
No, I mean, once again, people pay premiums for stocks, like huge premiums. And when earnings come out, there's an expectation. And if it's not met or beaten substantially, then there's sellers that come in. I don't actually have a problem with that. What we really look for is, for Tesla, it's like, where's that resistance point? Is it going to go below 800? And we haven't seen it really break below 800. We're probably not going to see it break above 900, like it was looking like it wanted to do. But that's okay. Remember, long-term investors want the stock to go down. Now, I was looking at Tesla's consensus numbers, and I think Tesla is a buy at around $500, and it's trading at, like, let's say $800. So, this is far from a cheap stock at $800. So I think investors have to understand when you're buying a stock that's you're paying a premium for, that there's going to be some risk involved. And that's why you can dollar cost average into the name. But long-term investors in Tesla, I don't see any change in the story from in the numbers I've heard. Now we've got to get on the conference call, and I got to go home and read through the numbers, and I'll put more analysis out after I have a chance to do that.
There is some light on production numbers, Ross, on Shanghai, 250,000 per year, more than 250,000 per year. And then Berlin is going to come online in 2020, which should increase their numbers in Europe drastically.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a demand issue a supply issue more than a demand issue. So why don't we get into what we learned from Facebook? Who's covering Facebook today for us? Is it Eva?
I was covering Starbucks today.
Okay, so Eva, why don't you get started? Let's talk about Starbucks. Starbucks is one of our top positions, and it has been for almost a decade, and we love the company, but there's some changes. Eva, why don't you jump into that?
So earnings per share about 61 cents. That beat expectations of 55 cents, but revenue was down. So it was
how much was revenue down?
So it was at 6.75 billion. Estimates were about 6.9 billion. So dropped 5%. Same with the first fiscal net income. That was also down. So over 200 million. Overall, the stock is suffering today because the COO is transitioning to Walgreens.
At the end of Starbucks to go to a pharmacy. Like, what's wrong with this stuff?
Yeah, it's surprising. It's surprising.
He just needs a title? Like, what?
They're going to vaccinate America, man. That's a big job.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
But I think it is the title. She is the only Black woman CEO.
I get that, and I'm proud of her, but she had a great job at Starbucks, and now it's like,
maybe she's trying to take what Starbucks did, right? Because 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even Starbucks was just a brick and mortar retailer.
No, come on, this is Walgreens you're talking about.
But maybe there's something in the digital transformation here that Starbucks did
at a Walgreens.
Ross, I mean, yeah, they got to do something, right? So
honestly, I would rather have my colonoscopy than go to the Walgreens. You know, and now that I'm getting to that age, they're trying to sell me on this. You know, these doctors. And I said everything's working just great, doc.
Maybe she.
So I'm not going to Walgreens. I'm going to Starbucks. Now, what I think it is she made history, which I think is great, and I think the world needs to have an African American CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I think it's great, female. We're making lots of history lately, which I think is great. But as a Starbucks shareholder, I'm sad to lose a top executive. And boy, the stock got hit for it, huh, Eva?
Yeah, they did 7% down today. And interestingly, the earnings report, the CEO mentioned that they are forward looking here. And a lot of the downturn they've seen in the revenue is because of COVID cases increasing across the US. So therefore, indoor dining goes down. But in China, where they're a lot advanced in COVID, in managing cases, same store sales actually increased 5%. So that's what we have to look forward to in the long run for Starbucks. So they're really
Starbucks had like sales increase in China and just decrease in the US and in Europe.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I think we're going to see this trend from a lot of earnings reports.
We saw that in the last couple of quarters actually from Starbucks, and but I obviously China has been the story for Starbucks for the last 2 years. I think that's where the growth is coming from, and Starbucks right now, I personally think is gonna be in a great position, which unfortunately all these small coffee shops are probably not going to be in business, which is sad to say. But Starbucks I think benefits.
I think it's a buying opportunity for Starbucks. Yeah. I think they come out of this pandemic ahead, and with their focus on China growing, as much as the COO matters, we know they have a really deep management bench and a really strong management team right now. So, I think it's a buying opportunity for Starbucks personally. The stock is not cheap, but it's not overly expensive either. I don't know. I think they do well post-pandemic. People are going to Starbucks anyways. They open up the stores and more people go, I think. When do you have Microsoft for us?
I've got Microsoft.
All right,
Microsoft.
No, we're big holders of Microsoft too. Sorry.
They beat, so they did 203 a share versus the estimate of 164. Their revenue was 43 billion this past quarter, which is 17% up from year over year, same quarter. I know they did well today in a down market.
Let's do another confetti. Let's do another one. There we go.
Until basically the closing hour, then they kind of got dragged down by all of the other big name stocks.
So what's killing it for them?
Sectors saw pretty even sales or revenue. So Intelligent Cloud grew the most. Azure, which is their cloud computing, up 50% this past quarter.
Solid.
Yeah, that is solid. That's where they saw a lot of the growth. It exceeded expectations in terms of growth. There was increased personal computing, so Xbox sales, more gaming, more Windows, people buying devices. So that was up 14%. And then productivity and business, Office, the Office suite, LinkedIn, also up 13%. So across the board, up.
It shows you how smart management is at Microsoft, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was like night and day once they put in Nadella.
Yep, we're back, sort of.
I love that Satya Nadella talked about the digital transformation 2.0. He was talking about how the cloud and everything and all the stuff that's happening right now in technology is a secondary revolution kind of carried over from the first one that happened a decade ago. My God, he's just such a great CEO. And Microsoft is it's like a mutual fund within one company. They have so many.
They are slow and steady wins the race. They have their foot in everything that we think innovatively is where we want to be. Gaming, social,
Xbox,
LinkedIn, cloud computing.
Up 50%. Now I brought in my son Max Gerber. He's an avid gamer. He's now acquainting himself with the Xbox. He also has his own company. It's maxssigns.com. If you need to sign, all the proceeds go to charity. So just a little family pitch today. But Max is becoming accustomed to the new Xbox, and how important is gaming in your life, Max?
Pretty important.
Yeah, I mean, if we took away gaming, what would you do?
I would.
You don't know. You don't even know. You'd have to go outside and play.
Yeah.
You know?
I would be a little bored.
Yes. So, kids today, they spend a lot more time watching streamers gaming or gamers, and this bodes so well for Microsoft long term. When you think about such a great business like Xbox, and then their acquisition of gaming companies like Minecraft, which is actually one of Max's favorite games, but also one of the games that he watches the streamers play a lot are Minecraft. So you think about Microsoft owning these properties as well as Xbox, as well as cloud and Office and LinkedIn. And this is a great business. It's a great business.
My kids are Minecraft obsessed. That is all that they think about. My kids want to be gaming engineers. They want to create the games, so that just funnels them right into Xbox and the whole ecosystem.
Roblox. My son is all about Roblox. I don't know if you guys have played the Game of Life recently, the board game, but now I play that with my son. And now video game designer is one of the career cards that you can pick.
That's where I learned to buy insurance when I was young.
Totally.
The first stop in the Game of Life.
The game is not.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're playing the Game of Life, remember, you got to buy some insurance.
Well, especially once you pile the kids into the car.
For sure.
Yeah, we do sell insurance here at Gerber Kawasaki as well. So feel free if you're feeling like you might not make it. It's time to get some life insurance.
Ask Max if he's ever been in a GameStop.
Max, he'll never go to a GameStop in his life. And that's the irony of the GameStop thing, is like kids today, like how many movie theaters do you think Max has been to? He's 8 years old. He's been once. So he's seeing Frozen the play, and he saw Frozen the movie, and that's all he's ever seen in a theater. So he's actually seen as many plays as movies in a theater, but he watches the iPad every day. And so when we get Apple reporting, and you think about a business like the iPad, would you rather own AMC, an out of business, basically movie company, or iPad, which is owned by Apple, which is what every kid is watching movies on? So it's like we must be smart about trading fads and real investments. And Apple is a real investment, and it's a real investment of ours. And so we do expect earnings from them any minute. Let's get a check-in on what we're seeing with the after-hours trading right now.
We got Tesla. Tesla is down about 7%.
It seems like Tesla's recovering a little bit.
Including
I got Tesla down only 37 points now.
Yeah,
36.
The whole between today and the after hours.
Yeah. Tesla right now is down about $17.
Yeah. Facebook's only down like
air quotes are different. Oh yeah. It's down. I see it down $35 after hours. Yeah. And then I see Facebook
only down $3 after hours.
Did they start commentary? Yeah, Facebook's kind of rallying back. But honestly, Facebook's numbers weren't like bad in any way.
Well, they're great. 26 billion in revenue.
And daily active users keeps growing. And I'm not sure if that's just QAnon people planning their MAGA terrorist attacks or that's actual growth. So,
I don't think they use Facebook anymore.
They don't use Facebook, right?
I'm hearing that on the slide deck of Tesla that they released that there's a Model S refresh, actually.
Yeah,
a Model S refresh. Yeah. It's funny you brought that up because I was reading about how they were trying to upgrade Model 3 with some of the features that are in the Model Y. Because when I got my wife's Model Y, I was like, wait, this is kind of cool. And I was like, wait, I don't have that. And wait, that's kind of cool. I don't have that. So they probably just added those things to the Model 3, which makes a lot of sense also because it streamlines production with the same types of things.
It looks sweet, man. It has a screen on the back. It's a smaller screen on the front.
Can we get that up on our screen? Can we get that presentation up?
I can share.
Or are we taxing our?
Can I share my screen, guys?
Are we taxing our ability to do things?
Let me see here.
I'm curious.
Right, well, if you can pull up Tesla, and we can see what's in this report. That'd be great. And now let's also, I wanted to discuss for a minute about proper investing in proper trading.
Here,
And
before
how-
we do that, let's look at the Model S.
All right, let's see it. Is it Model S or Model 3?
This is the Model S refresh.
Oh, so there is a Model S refresh.
yeah, look, can you see guys
Oh.
see that?
That's great news.
Yeah, look at that.
I thought you said Model 3.
Yeah, look at this front.
Oh, babe.
Look at this.
Didn't you just buy a Model S?
I did, man. That's 2
Ah,
months
you
ago.
Oh, it's time to trade in my 3. It might be time to trade in the 3 for me.
Yeah.
Look at that puppy.
This is the actual.
Is that really a Model S?
Yeah, Model S Plaid exterior.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This is good news.
It's a
What are
great
you
news.
talking about? Bad earnings from Tesla. They're going to refresh the Model S, make it super fast.
This
Data
is-
gets a new car, Yeah. Why are they trading the stock down? That's everybody's wanted this refresh. Everybody,
I love
oh,
this. Look at the front.
because they spent money expanding too much. Oh, we're back to that again. We're back to we want Elon to make today's profit at tomorrow's expense. It's like screw those people.
$1 billion
Screw them. They don't know what they're doing. Tesla, great job. It's great. I'm looking at GameStop up here, up 189 for the day. GameStop, So the legend in the firm was that I wanted to buy GameStop. This was 5 years ago, and so we bought some GameStop, and my partner Danilo went to GameStop with his daughter, and he took pictures of her doing cartwheels through the store because there was nobody in it. And
True story. True story.
and I defended, and I was like, no, your daughter, it was a slow day that day, and everybody laughed at me at the company, and we ended up selling the stock at a loss. Not too bad of a loss, but we lost. And I vowed I would never buy GameStop during the next console cycle, and I didn't even think GameStop would be there, because if you actually go to a GameStop, it's actually worse than a Walgreens. And so, no, it is. It's definitely worse than Walgreens. And so, the fact that we're batting around a discussion on GameStop and it's up 189 is insanity. It's insanity. Now, not to say you should or shouldn't be trading it, but got to know when you're crazy, And if you're crazy and you know it, it's a lot safer than if you actually start buying in that this is an investment. It's not an investment. Now, everybody repeat after me in the audience. It's not an investment. AMC, not an investment. Okay? Nokia, not an investment. Not an investment. That's right. Poops. That's what it is. BlackBerry, not an investment. Okay? And that's a fact. Now, do you want to go out and kill short sellers? I give you my blessing. L'chaim. Go do it. Do it. But don't be confused. Don't be confused. Okay? It's really, really crucial that you take seriously the fact that this is your money, and in most cases, it's a lot of your money. So be smart about it. Okay. Now, Tesla, Microsoft, Starbucks, these are investments. Apple, these are investments. These are companies that earn profits, that are well run, that will earn you returns over time. And you can't be greedy. You have to be patient. So you have investments and you have trades. And it's okay to have trades with a portion of your money, but you have to know what you're doing. Now, this is the way I deal with it. It's just like when I go to Vegas. I don't like losing money gambling. I don't consider myself a gambler, really. So when I go to Vegas, I typically will decide I'm going to lose at most $500 or $1,000 playing cards tonight. Okay. Which, is real money. Okay. So I'll go in, I'll sit down with, let's say, $1,000, and I'll cash in those chips and I'll start playing blackjack. And if I lose, I'm done. That's it for the night. But if I win, the first thing I do is I take $1,000 and put it back in my pocket and play with the house's money. Playing with the house's money is how you trade. So if you bought GameStop a few days ago with $5,000 and now it's 20 grand, take back the $5,000. Just take back the $5,000. You literally cannot lose now. You can't lose. That's what smart traders do. Okay. Dumb traders see the thing up 189, thinks it's going to go up another 189, and they double up, and then it goes down 189, and you lose everything. Everything. So, smart trading has a place. Okay.
All right, I think we got some Apple numbers here.
Oh, thank God. I get to end my speech. All right, let's get into this.
1.68 versus 1.4. Great beat there. 111 billion in revenue versus 102.
Whoa,
Yeah.
111 billion. That's a world record.
iPhone revenue 65 billion versus 56.
Wow, they sold the phone.
Big refresh, guys. 5G, we need that.
Let's see if we can find the Mac.
Does the 5G actually work though?
It does work.
All right.
If you have it, I told Brett if
you have it and you're downloading like the encyclopedia on a Tuesday out on Wilshire Boulevard.
Yeah, it doesn't work in most places still. But, I'm trying to dig in here. I'm curious about the Mac numbers because everybody I know who
I heard the new Macs are great.
I got the M1, guys. I got the MacBook Air with the M1 chip. It's a substantial upgrade.
Mac sales
All right,
8.67 billion versus 7 in the same quarter last year. So Mac sales were up.
Yeah, I see after hours it's even. It's trying to buck, I think, some pretty negative sentiment right now.
I mean, these numbers are amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
These numbers sound good for Apple. What'd you say their EPS was?
168 versus
$1.68 versus
141
was the estimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is that Tim Cook, like everybody knows how he guides low.
Yeah.
So you got to take Tim Cook numbers, add 10%, and then have real.
Yeah, this is the first time they've gone over $100 billion in a quarter.
I mean, this is an incredible number.
It's unreal.
iPad
incredible
crushed
number.
too by almost 2.5 billion. 8.4 billion versus about 6 was expected. The same quarter last year.
For
iPads. What were we just talking about?
iPad.
You got it.
As I said, I can't get enough iPad at my house. Okay, there's no end to the iPad need at my house. In fact, taking an iPad away from a child is almost like taking their hand. Ella, you don't have kids.
Are your kids big iPad?
Ask Wendy.
Well,
How's
I
it like
think
taking the
We're
iPads
seeing
away?
a lot of sales in all computers and all devices because everybody's
Right.
at home and nobody has anything else to spend money on. So why not refresh?
And see, I don't think they need the Apple stores. Like the service has gotten so bad at the stores, like shutting the stores actually doesn't affect Apple at all. And
Well,
I think
the
most
stores are just for people who
Customer
need
service.
help. It's really for
Yeah.
the service
my mom.
part. It's not for sales.
No, it's for my mom. My
Yeah.
mom goes every day. It's like I can't. My mom has problems with an iPhone that no other person has ever had, and it's crazy. But I bet your mom has the same problem too, and it's like that's what the Apple Store's for. It's a mom store.
And dad. Let's not forget the dads. Let's not be Jenny.
My dad doesn't have those problems.
No, my dad definitely does.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Maybe because my dad's still using a Nokia, but that could be it. My mom tries to use like the most advanced of the stuff. What do you got a sign now? Oh, look at that! He's branding for us. He's branding. I had him out on Ocean flipping this thing, and he got tired of it, so he's back now here in the office. But listen, I'm a big believer in taking your kids to work. And although we got in trouble today at Zoom school because they heard me cursing about GME in the background, and the teacher sent a letter to my wife saying that Max can't come anymore for school. I'm like, it's a trading desk, and GME is up 189, and they don't expect a bad word to be said. I don't know. It was my error.
I don't know what GME is.
Is everyone frozen again?
We're back.
All right.
We're back again.
So Facebook is flat. Apple is almost flat. So these companies.
So it's priced in. It's all priced in.
Yeah, for sure. And we kind of
Tesla's starting to come back. I see Tesla down minus 29. But by the time Elon's done today,
it might be up 10%.
yeah. What time's the conference call? 2:30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be popping on Bloomberg Radio at 1:45. So we're going to be
Hey, Brett, do you have any numbers on services for Apple?
Yeah, it did come out. They beat on services. I think it was around 15.7 billion versus about 12.7 billion in the same quarter last year. So that story is definitely still one of the main driving forces of why Apple is continuing to be a monster in the markets.
But I think that's like top 10 companies in the world, just the services.
Yeah,
For Apple.
so he said that it has 620 million paid subscribers at this point that are on its platform, and iPhone upgrades set an all-time record in China, actually. So, I mean, they are just raking
That's
in
good
cash
news, too.
I mean,
so let's recap. We had Apple, good earnings. Tesla, strong numbers, bottom line disappointment.
right.
Starbucks, good earnings, lost a great executive though.
Yeah.
Microsoft, great earnings. Okay.
Facebook.
What else? And Facebook earnings too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the
So
market.
in my mind, everybody came in
Yeah.
great.
And let's not forget, guys, we had a pandemic going on.
Yeah,
So-
COVID who?
Yeah, COVID-1, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like every 10
I mean,
minutes somebody
Apple-
dies. It doesn't matter to Apple. Doesn't
Apple
stop
38
Microsoft.
billion in cash and operating cash flow, man. These numbers are just insane.
Insane. And it's like you can't even get your arms around like a day of Apple's profits is more than GameStop has ever made. You know? And it's like crazy. It's like crazy.
Mm.
And that's why these are investments. And that's why I really want to stress to people the difference between investing and trading. And you can trade investments, okay? But investing in trades is a huge error. It's a huge error. So don't make that mistake. But we've got some great companies that we're talking about today. Microsoft, one of our top, Apple, top holding of ours. Tesla, top holding of ours. Starbucks, a top holding of ours. We don't own Facebook because it's ethically corrupt over there. But also still doing well, even though we don't own it. And so, here you see like big cap American-based companies have recovered from the pandemic and have profited during this period of time. And it shows the resilience of the business models, and it shows the strength of the management and the products of these companies. It really
is even more, Ross. They thrived in the pandemic. I think
it's impressive.
And you know what? We talked about this, I think, last week. What's impressive, what's interesting to me is it almost seems now like tech companies, the big ones, actually have as much or more power than the people in power, right? So Twitter decided who they'll take down. Facebook decided who they'll take down, right? They don't even.
I think that's an amazing point.
Right? Like they have more power. Amazon, taking on Trump and now doing trying to do vaccine distributions. Like these are the companies that basically run this country at this point. And if you're not invested in them, I think obviously if you haven't been, you should get in on it.
They're the gatekeepers to our society, and they charge a tax just like the government, right? And so I think that's a really wise way to look at it, because they actually borrow at the same rate as the government too, so they're financially stronger than the U.S. government.
I mean, they're almost safer after seeing the Capitol stormed. Do I trust more in Apple or do I trust more in the U.S. government?
Wonderful point. Hence why Bitcoin's going down, because once Trump got out, right, the uncertainty lessened and Bitcoin came down, because it thrives on uncertainty. But you're absolutely right. If you can overthrow the government with a bunch of guys with weird furry hats on, let me tell you, Apple is safer than the U.S. government bonds. Right?
And have a better yield. Have a better yield too.
Yeah, barely though. Okay. And so not owning these companies is a risk to your portfolio, basically. because you're not owning one of the key gatekeepers to our society. But there's nothing more powerful than taking Trump off Twitter and Facebook. Like, it literally changed the tone of this nation. And so the point that these companies have too much power, I think, is true. And I think the government's going to try to claw back some of that power. So that's a risk to Facebook, I think, and to Twitter. And I think the government should claw back some of that power and create accountability. But it does show you where the power does lie. Anyways, I think that's a good note to end on for earnings, big earnings show today on Wednesday. You guys have anything else you want to throw out there? We had a great team today from our entire, not just management team, from our advisory team. We have a group of great advisors that we asked on the show today. So thank you guys for coming on. You can find everybody on Twitter or on Instagram or on LinkedIn. You can email us at gerberkawasaki.com, where we've democratized financial advice. If you need financial help, that's what we're here for. We work with everybody and anybody, hopefully globally soon. And we've got a lot of exciting things that are happening at our firm over the next couple months that we'll be announcing. We also just started GK Tax and Accounting. So if you want to get your taxes done and tired of the annoying accountants, you can also do that through us now as well. But thank you very much. It's been an exciting day of trading again. Markets were down heavy today. We just had some great earnings reports overall. We expect a nice, strong recovery this year in the economy. It's going to be a tough first quarter, but we think it only gets better from here. So we hope everybody is safe, uses intelligent decision-making and the activities you choose to do, and use protection like a mask and social distancing, because we're not going to get out of COVID and we're not going to make money unless we all work together. So hopefully everybody can understand that, so that we can all move forward to what will be an amazing life once this is over. So thank you all for tuning in to the Big Earnings Show, and have a wonderful afternoon.